You are currently listening to the World News at 12 right here on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. We'll now go into the news analysis segment where I'm being joined by my guest this afternoon. He is Honorable Temitope Abdul Razak Balogun, the Lagos State governorship candidate for the 2023 general election. Today he joins me in the capacity of a political and public affairs analyst, and he'll be giving us his own perspectives on the issues in the news this afternoon. Good afternoon to you, sir. Thank you for joining me.
Good afternoon, Voice of the People.
Yes. Thank you very much for joining us today. We do appreciate you. We want to begin with one of the most prominent news items from last night, and that was Alhaji Atiku Abubakar clinching the presidential ticket of the ADC after the primaries yesterday. Now, you do know that while the primaries were going on over a period of 3 days, less than 24 hours into the primaries, former Rivers State Governor, former Minister of Transportation, Rotimi Amechi, said, look, this process is not free, it's not fair, it's not credible, it is flawed, there is a misalignment, there is a malfeasance that is going on. Also, businessman Mohammed Hayatuddin, who also expressed his own interest in being the presidential flag bearer of the party, distanced himself and said he doesn't want to be a part of it anymore. While Atiku has absolutely won the ticket, he is also begging these people to go ahead and work with him. So there is a question of who becomes his presidential candidate. I want to hear your thoughts on that, seeing as you are also a member of the opposition, even if you're not a member of the ADC.
Well, for me, I think the other two candidates should not overlook whatever has transpired, because I believe as politicians, they understand the modus operandi of things very well. And even when they seem to have something near perfect, there will still be somebody that will win and some other people will lose. I think the spirit of camaraderie should be the major belief they should have, that we should come together as opposition. Fine, everybody will aspire, but somebody will lead the team. It's a teamwork. I don't believe they are to sideline themselves as much as sidelining many of their followers. They should come together, and if there is a window of appeal, they should appeal if there will be something to do about it. But then for me, I think it's too late in time to be going through that. They should accept the candidates. They should sit down together. They should put up their own request for something that will make the whole electoral process worthwhile. You know, they have their own singular ideas as individuals, but they can always come together. And I think one of those soft skills that people need to appreciate is the skill of collaboration. When somebody has the belief that he can always collaborate with others of similar interests, I think it will make them forge ahead better. Their own primary is even far better than the one we witnessed online on social media, where people were counting. I don't even know the progression. It's not arithmetic progression. It's not geometric progression. You see people that are no more than 100. At the end of the day, by the time they finish counting, we hear them counting 2,000 out of people that are less than 100. You know, but we did see something of such in this ADC family that we observe. So in one way or the other, the figure they came up with eventually looks more realistic for a political party to poll with its members. So they will definitely have complaints like they are having, but I think the best for them, because now I'm a proponent of opposition coming together to challenge the incumbent, the status quo. Else, we'll keep having what we call a merry-go-rounding stakes, where people will just be doing almost the same thing, and they will be having the same results, like we are almost witnessing now. Something around 2023 is brewing up, that we now have the presidential candidate that will win eventually with more than 10 million votes, which we have never seen since 1999, but we saw it at the last election, because people splitted votes as much as for us. It's good for democracy anyway. But I think the best for them is for them to come together, talk things out, iron things out, whatever they have observed, so that the subsequent opportunities they will be having, they will be matching their words with action. But I think there should be a room for them to discuss.
Okay, it did look like there was a coming together.
They should not divide the house.
It did look like there was a coming together at some point, but unfortunately, it's not exactly like that now with the collapse of the ADC coalition. When you say the opposition should come together, is your party open to that coming together? Were they part of the ADC coalition, the Ibadan summit, where the opposition said, "Oh, we'll present one candidate"? Were they a part of it?
At the Ibadan coalition meeting of different political parties, AA was there. The faction of AA was there, and the faction that is presently recognized by INEC, that's who were there. So I don't think the best approach for any reasonable political party is to have a divided opposition, or else they are not going to get us out of the menace we are faced with. Because presently Nigeria is in an hellish condition, which nobody can deny. We are in an hellish condition, and there may not be a messiah, but we can always salvage ourselves as people that are experiencing the difficulties in every sector of the present Nigeria, the present nation, the present country we have is not giving us that safe haven for us as citizens of this country. So we should come together and pick a candidate, like something that happened around 1999. I think AD and APP eventually agreed to work for Falai, even though he did not win eventually. Obasanjo won it, but then it was something that was plausible, and we commended such thing. If it can repeat itself, where the candidates come together, then they should have a government of national unity. If that is where the affair is, they should sit down, look at different sectors they will be dividing among themselves to work with. Then we should push out the seemingly enigmatic problem that is before us, too gargantuan for an individual to push out by himself.
Are you saying that no individual party or individual presidential candidate can defeat the incumbent in 2027 without a coming together or a consolidation of a coalition?
Well, election is still January, but then we should look at antecedents of Nigeria political system. Defeating an incumbent has been something that had never been possible until 2015, and the only way they were able to defeat the incumbent then was the coming together of series of interests to eventually push him out. It is not something that is going to be easy. If you look at one of the interviews the incumbent president Tinubu did, it was not an interview, it was a speech he made at a gathering. He said in 2023, when he doesn't have the authority, was not sitting on that Aso Rock seat of power, that he struggled, he defeated them. Now that he now made the gesture, like he has all the resources. Look at almost all the governors of Nigeria already in his pocket. I won't say in his pocket, but they are answerable to him. Even those in opposition, they are looking up to call in favor from him. Look at what the Afghan governor said in Anambra. He said who is his personal friend. So he's not even looking at the party divide, and they are making their allegiance very open. So if the masses are going to defeat the oligarchs, then the best approach is for everybody to push their votes in a singular basket. Just imagine in 2023, if we had not had a splitted vote of 6 million plus to 7 million plus. He had 8 million something. It was up to 9 million. Just imagine that 6 million coming to meet 7 million. 7 million going low to conquer, stooping low to conquer. They would have had 13 million votes that would be extremely far ahead of his 8 million. And APC would have gone for good in 2023. APC government for 8 years under Buhari was nothing to write home about in comparison to the support Nigeria gave them to push the PDP out of office. And eventually what we had after Buhari is the most catastrophic situation any country can find themselves. Within 2 years, everything skyrocketed to more than 1,000%. Very, very devilish model of governance where the rulers are enjoying their living affluent lives and telling the rude to accept whatever is happening, that they should tighten their stomach while they are living an affluent life. I think it is very appalling, and the situation can only be redeemed by the masses if we have a singular, serious political party we want to vote for. But when we have a divided house, they will all try. They will try. Although nothing is impossible, one of those other strong two that we have now, like we all know, may eventually win, but it will be by a narrow margin. And you know the problem that is associated with narrow margin victory. The court can easily upturn that victory, and the electoral act it still give room. It gave room to for the
so basically for you, everything favors the incumbent.
Yeah, it's everything as of today favors the incumbent. It's just for some of the very courageous Nigerians that kept going to court to challenge the system, that are getting some favorable judgment. And the funny thing is, immediately they get a favorable judgment from a particular court, another court case will spring up where there will be a conflicting judgment to rival what will ordinarily be of interest to the masses. So there is you know, I had been in APC. If I was the founding member of APC, I was the state secretary of CPC under Buhari. We merged together. We had to jump the ship. Yes, we jumped the boat. We left them because we knew that they had nothing good.
Okay.
But the common man, when we started having meetings with them after the merger, we saw that these people are coming to conquer Nigerians. They are not coming to conquer Jonathan like they claim. So we had to leave back there. The people didn't understand us because we are advocates of good governance, and our own interest is all about good governance. So at the end of the day, they proved us right. And the mastermind of that coalition then now said, Emilokan. You know what, in Yoruba parlance, we have whom we call Baba Oba. That is the person that can be reported to when the king is overbearing unduly. But now, he doesn't have anybody you can report him to. So when you have the mafia king at the end of our year, then you should have all voter force as the consequence of having a mafia king as the head of an administration. So as of today, tell me who is capable enough to actually talk and advise Mr. President. Unlike before, we have some people, even if they are religious leader, some people they are community leader. So that's how system works. There must be people that are more superior to somebody in authority to have that check and balance. Ordinarily in democracy, they created the judiciary for such. But you also what happened when Mr. President went to the to the legislative arm. They stood up. Opposition and the ruling party were thinking that they were on a collapsing mandate, that we collapse by 2027 if we work harder than how we worked in 2023. But we all saw them all standing up to welcome him. We are not saying they should not share him up as the sitting president because of his position, but thinking that they are all on his mandate. A mandate of renewed hopelessness, a mandate of serious and deliberating situation. Very unfathomable that Nigeria will get to this mess where people will have to beg to eat. People that are ordinarily struggling, but they can still make ends meet, are now becoming paupers in their own father's land. Can you imagine ordinary Ghanaians asking Nigerians to go back home?
All right.
Nigeria must go and
right.
the like. So it's very. So the opposition should think. It should think for the general masses, not for their own personal interest.
Thank you, Honorable. Before we move on in this part on this particular topic, I want us to actually take a listen to Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, what he said after winning the ADC presidential primaries with almost 1.9 million votes. Him talking to Rotimi Amechi and Mohammed Hayatuddin to return to the party and join him in saving Nigeria. So I want us to take a listen and then we'll continue the conversation.
I, Atiku Abubakar, therefore appeal to all those who feel aggrieved to come back to our party and close ranks of us. I appeal to all those who contested for various positions in our primaries to close ranks with us. In particular, I invite Chief Rotimi Amechi and Alhaji Mohammed Hayatuddin to join me in this fight to save our democracy and our country. As I said previously, there are no winners and no losers. Our people look up to us for leadership. I'm ready to lead.
You heard him. He says the people look up to the ADC for leadership and he is ready to lead. He says there are no losers and there are no winners. One would think that is exactly what the winner would say, especially when you're the one who gets to represent the party. But there is still the question of who becomes his running mate because of this North-South alliance. When you have a presidential candidate from the South, they would usually want to get a vice presidential candidate from the North and vice versa. Do you see Amechi accepting the role of a vice president if it is offered to him?
Well, at the point I had contact with His Excellency, right, Honorable Rotimi Amechi. So he is passionate to become the president, and in truth, I give kudos to him for going headlong against a person of His Excellency Atiku Abubakar. Be looking at Atiku Abubakar's influence in Nigeria political system, but I'm not too sure if he is going to be. I don't know. I'm not too sure if he's going to be having that deflated ego to work as a vice presidential candidate. So I think reconciliation should be the next line of action outside the words of invitation to join him. I think they should send him. He should go personally, and they should have a concrete agreement that will not be deflected from, unlike what happened in 2023 that cost them Wike's loyalty, and Wike becoming disloyal to PDP, and we also the shenanigans that came out of such disagreement that were not resolved. So I believe they should meet with him, look at everything, explain to him, and appeal to him. Beyond the words, there should be an action that symbolizes accommodation of him and his ardent followers, so that at the end of the day, it will be a win-win situation for everybody. If he is willing to be the vice presidential candidate, so be it. Good for the team. At least whatever work they have been doing in the past, they just continue on that trajectory, and we'll be looking ahead to them coming headlong with other oppositions that are very strong, because you can't take away the strength of Obi and Kwakwanso being on the ballot on January 6th too. So, but I think the best is for leaders of their status, they should come together and talk things out, so that we can have what I would describe as an humongous victory, a victory that cannot be challenged by anybody in the court of law, because it will be too big for them to comprehend. So, but then whatever the leaders that of their status, because I can call them the leaders of Nigeria that today being for their efforts in the past, whatever they have done, whatever they have attained politically, made them to be in such a position, and they should see things better, especially for the upcoming generations that are even younger than us, that we thought we never enjoyed Nigeria, but these ones that are even coming behind us, they are seeing hell on earth, and it can still deserve it, going by the resources we possess as a country. So that's my view.
All right.
And Ayatollah is financially buoyant. I think he should not be left out, and he has his own followership from the northern part of Nigeria. You can't take that population of northern part of Nigeria out of political calculation in Nigeria.
All right. I want us to talk about something that happened. Yesterday was Children's Day across Nigeria. Nigerians were celebrating Children's Day mostly in misery due to the knowledge of the number of children that are still in captivity. But in some states, some government and private individuals were able to just have just a small celebration for some of the children. Now, in Edo State, there was an annual Children's Day celebration, but it took a different turn. Yesterday there was a stampede, an unfortunate chemical exposure. At first we got reports that it was the Nigerian police. Now we are hearing that it was a private bouncer that was actually engaged for that event, that he literally let out a chemical within the vicinity because he felt that the children who came for the Children's Day event, they were being too unruly. He was trying to manage the crowd, and instead of using any other means, he decided to just deploy a highly irritating gas substance, a chemical that led to over 30 children collapsing, being unable to breathe, having stomach issues, and we could see ambulances rushing children to the hospital. Seeing as this was a government event, could they not have deployed the police or the civil defense or others for security at the venue instead of a private bouncer that, with this situation now, it looks like he did not know how to handle children at an event?
Well, firstly, I want to use this medium to commiserate with the children all over the world with the way they are being treated nowadays. Some of them are in captivity, some of them are now experiencing. Now, let us now go down to those ones that experience that malhandling at Edo. I think the problem we have as a country is that we don't even have standards of doing things. In fellow crimes, people don't have access to children. Not everybody has access to children. There are people that are trained to manage children because of their specific characteristics of going out of line. Many a time they are not matured enough to handle instructions. So when you want to have an event that involves children, you have to have professionals. Even when you are inviting people from regular security agencies like the police and the civil defense and the like, they must be people that are cultured. If you look at what happened, it is not an external invasion from thugs that are adults. It is because those children, they believe they were unruly. Children are not meant to be handled by everybody. They are supposed to be handled by trained personnel. They have their own methods of being controlled, of being put into check. You can't just be putting children into check by beating them, by trying to bully them into compliance. It's not something that works for children. It will only give them scary moments, and pandemonium evolves out of it. So, and when there is chaos, what do you expect? Somebody that is untrained will think it's a regular chaotic situation that involves adults. So the next thing is he wants to use tear gas and the likes against children that their organs are still building up, that are not even grown enough to be. Some of those children may have a situation that may not, a congenital situation that may not be, they may not be able to recover for till death from that singular things that happen. And where did they even take them to? Are they managing them well? Are they giving them the actual attention deserved? That's why I said I commensurate with all the children of the world. In fact, they are not healing the world like Michael Jackson sang with some people the other day. They are not healing the world. The children are being seriously dealt with. Some of them are in one Ogbomoso bush now, under captivity of some bandits and whatever. When this issue of banditry started, it started with the children too, keyboard girls, if you can remember that vividly. And the country continues to go on like everything is normal. In fact, I don't understand why they are even celebrating Children's Day. They shouldn't have even celebrate the Children's Day. They should have protested that Children's Day celebration. They should have made many of the children to be aware that some of their colleagues that went to school like they did on that fateful day are in the bush with some idiots that are making demands. And they even slaughtered one of their teachers on camera. A teacher that teaches a core course like mathematics was slaughtered on camera, and Nigerian Union of Teachers still go to school to go and teach. Nigeria nothing should be working again in the educational system. If we are really serious to protect the rights of the children like we want to claim, we want to protect. But look at the end of the day, children kept getting into trouble, getting into murky waters of Nigeria unplanned system. We all have children, and we will not appreciate if our children go or went for an event that is organized by a government, and they are eventually landing in various hospitals because they are manhandled by people that are not trained to handle them. In fact, I have people that are very close to me. You cannot become a teacher, you cannot become a security person in any of the schools in US if you don't go for a course that has to do with managing children, because they have their own psyche. You have to be psychologically prepared for some of these things you'll be seeing from them. Some of those kids are not regular kids. Some of them are autistic. Some of them are even living with Down syndrome that are not very, very visible. Some of them are very, very aggressive. You know, a lot of things that you need to observe and know how to manage them. But they want to use regular adult community style of organizing events to organize events for children, and that is why it is backfiring. It's a lesson for other governments, a lesson for parents to know where they are going to be sending their kids to. If their kids are at home with them, they should educate their kids. The schools too that are going to participate should have educated their children before they release them or took them to that event, so that in case of any mismanagement, a teacher in charge will rally them around and be able to safeguard them.
We're getting reports that bouncer has been arrested and will face the full wrath of the law.
They are only wasting their time arresting the bouncer. Is the bouncer qualified ordinarily to have been deployed to that event? So if they say they are arresting somebody that doesn't even fit in for a job, you have to arrest the people that deployed him in the first place. You can't send an electrician to go and manage a plumbing work from a company that is recognized, and we are now blaming the electrician for spoiling the pipes. You blame the company that ab initio sent in an electrician for a plumber's job. So for me, it is the government that organized that program without having adequate system to protect the interests of the children. Right. That should be called to action. That should take the blame, and they should apologize severally and pay damages for many of those kids that are involved and other kids that we felt escaped, but they are already managing serious crisis at home. Because even the gory side of such pandemonium will be in the heart and mind of some of these kids for life. They are tabularizers, like what we were taught in psychology of children. They are tabularizers. They don't have anything in their head. They are innocent, and whatever they see is what will be written there for life. So I think the government should take responsibility for their mismanagement. and they should stop playing politics.
Uses new law punishing those feeding bandits with information. Atiku wins ADC presidential primary elections and NDC reveals only successful aspirant will pay nomination fees. And that is a wrap on the World News at 12 on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. My name is Chioma Innocent. Good afternoon to you and thank you for listening.